Good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's edition of Boredom Busters with the Lincoln Children's Museum. Today is Monday, April 20th, and this week is Earth Day on Wednesday. So all week we are going to be doing fun activities about our planet and the things you can do to help make it a more beautiful place. Now, I hope that everybody had a chance to tune in to Read Aloud Lincoln's post at 10 o'clock with your favorite librarians reading you stories and singing you songs. If not, no worries, they'll be doing it tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock as well. And in fact, it is Spirit Week. So to show your stories, wear blue tomorrow and a crazy hat today. All right, so today we are going to be thinking about seeds. Because what is a seed? Where do plants come from? Well, plants seeds. So I don't know if you have ever helped plant a garden, but today might be the day to start doing that. Now, for a seed, how does a seed grow from such a tiny little thing into a plant? Well, I have two activities for you today. Now, our first one is called a Germination Viewer. And what we're going to do is we are going to plant some seeds so that we can watch them grow. So what you need for this activity, you need a Ziploc bag and a paper towel. You need some seeds. I'm going to do some beans and some water, as well as a permanent marker. So today, first thing, I'm going to write on my bag. Let's see, what do I have here? I have beans. So I'm going to write beans. And today's date, which is April 20th, 2020. All right. Now, you'll need to get your paper towel and fold it so that it fits into your zip bag. And usually these ones fit pretty well if you fold them in half and then, let's see, maybe in thirds. That looks good. That'll fit nicely in there. Now you need to get this paper towel wet. So this is clean water here. And it needs to be wet but not dripping. So see, it's dripping right now. I'm just going to give it a little squeeze. If you have a mist bottle at home, that can be a good way to control the amount of water that gets onto your paper towel. Now, this paper towel will go right into your zipper bag. And then on the side that you did not write on, this is where you'll get your, and I'm going to choose, probably about 4 or 5. Let's see. Oh, there's 6. So there's my 6 little bean seeds. I'm going to put these right in here, right against the paper towel. It's kind of hard to see because they are white seeds against a white paper towel. Then press it down, make sure you get as much air out as possible, zip that bag, then you will tape this bag against a window in your home that's sunny and that you can see from outside. So I will be taping this up against the window here and we can check in on it later. I did bring an example though from my home. So you can see here I wrote on the back 4/13/2020. That was last Monday, and I did peas and beans. So you can see they have started to sprout a little bit. Now, what part is sprouting out right now? Is that going to be leaves? No, it's actually going to be roots. And to help us learn about the life cycle of a seed growing into a plant, Kazoo here on our printable, he has the seed the seed starting to grow roots. We've got a big whole plant, we have a little plant. So see if you can figure out what order those parts of the life cycle of the seed to plant, what order they go in. Now, since we've planted some seeds, really we've just put them in the Germination Viewer. Now, germination, that means that a seed, it starts growing. That's what germination means. It's a long word, and it means when the seed starts growing. Now, I'm going to take the same seeds, the same bean seeds, and over here in my soil, I'm going to plant them in the soil so that we can see what is going on. Now, if you're going to plant in soil, an important thing is to make sure that the soil is loose and that there are no roots in it from other plants, maybe from last year's garden, and also that there are no stones. Now I'm going to dig a nice little hole here, make sure it's loose, about 6 inches down, because those roots, when the roots first start growing, they're pretty delicate, and they might have a hard time pushing through hard, compact soil. So there we go. I feel like that's nice and loose now. See? Nice and loose. Now, just going to gently pat it down. I'm going to get a couple more of these bean seeds here. And I'm going to put them just a couple inches apart. You know, not every seed will grow into a full-sized plant. It's just the way it is. So there they are. I'm going to put a little bit of soil on top of them so that they're nice and covered up. And now I'm going to water these. Now just a little bit. You want to make sure that you're not getting too much water. Watering cans are really good for watering because it comes out sprinkle. Because if you pour too much too fast, here, I will show you what happens right over here in this blank spot. So if you pour too fast, it'll dig up the soil. Now, look at that. The soil is all dug up, it's all gone away, and if you had seeds there, it would dig up the seeds. Now, we need to make sure that we remember what we planted here. So I'm going to use a big popsicle stick, and I'm going to write beans. Beans. And today, again, is April 20th, 2020. And I'm going to put that right here so that when they start sprouting, we remember that they're beans and what day we planted them on. Now, some seeds you plant in a little bit of a different way. So if you have, for example, flower seeds like these, now these seeds are so much smaller. And they say on the back, the depth to sow on this one is only 1/8 of an inch. On this one, on the beans, you want to put them down 1 to 1.5 inches. So instead of digging a little hole and covering it up, I'm just going to loosen this up. I'll use this little tool here. Take these seeds. And see, these seeds are so much smaller. Now I'll just kind of sprinkle them there. And then very gently pat them to cover them up. Because that's enough for these little tiny seeds. Now I'm excited to watch these plants grow. So I'm going to leave this out here in the sunshine and come back and visit it. Make sure that the soil is moist. And I'm going to watch these plants grow. Because for a plant to grow, plants need things to grow. They need soil, they need sunshine, and they need water. So I think we're going to have sunshine all week. And then, but water, that's going to be my job, to make sure it gets water. All right. Now, I also have a craft for today, and that is to make a picture of a plant. Now, I brought in this lovely little rabbit's foot fern. So a fern, they look like this usually. They've got this, it spreads out, all these little tiny leaves. And then this one is called rabbit foot. Just look at that little fuzzy thing there. Now I'm going to do a fun technique called a crayon resist. So I'm going to get my watercolors here. And before you paint with them, you're going to want to make them juicy there so that those paint cakes start getting wet. I'm not sure what colors I'm going to use today, so I'm going to get them all ready to go. Let's see. And last one there. All right. Now, because water will soak into paper, but it does not soak through wax. Have you ever noticed that? If you take a crayon and get it wet, the water just drips right off of that wax. Now, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to draw with the crayon. And I see here I've got the fern comes up like this. Use that green. I'll put in another one coming this way. So choose a plant. Maybe one that's in a pot inside your home. Maybe it's one that's growing outside in your yard or near your home. I'm going to use my other color of green here to add a little bit more. And then I'm going to use some paint to do the rest. So there I have the stems for all those little leaves growing. Add a little more there, a little more there, and finally some there. Now, I need some green. There it is, all nice and juicy. And as I paint this, the water in the watercolor paint is not going in, it's not sticking to the paper where the crayon is. You get a little bit of fun texture doing it this way. Now I'm mixing together just a little bit of yellow with my green. I felt like the green from the paint palette was just too bluish. And green is made out of blue plus yellow. So if you want a brighter green, mix in just a little bit of yellow. Now you can paint or draw with whatever you like the best, markers or paint or colored pencils. And there's that. Now, I can't forget those little rabbit's feet coming up. So I'm going to do a couple of those little rabbit's feet roots there. Make some nice little fuzzy brown lines. Then I'll come back to my paint and get some brown watercolors to do the soil. I think I forgot to make that one juicy. And there we go. There is my painting of a rabbit's foot fern. Make some paintings, take some photos, show us what you've done. Now, when you go out on your walk today, first of all, it is so beautiful outside. I hope that you do get to go out and enjoy the sunshine, but we really need to remember we still need to keep our germs to ourselves. So only to places where other people are not. Play structures are just not a healthy idea right now because you don't know who else has touched them. You need to keep your germs to yourself and other people's germs for them. So go out to a nice field, walk down your sidewalk. But while you're out, see if you can figure out what plants were planted by people and what plants just grew there because it was a good place to be. And maybe you can find some fresh little sprouts. Maybe you can find some plants that have been there for a very long time. Now, what kind of tree grows fingers?
I don't know, Miss Greta, what?
A palm tree. Now, thank you for joining me today. Hope to see you again tomorrow morning at 10:30 for our next Boredom Busters. And don't forget, we'll be doing story time at 10 o'clock. So tune in for them to see your favorite librarians reading you stories and singing you songs. And then hop over to our page to see what kinds of fun activities we have planned for you.